We're just gonna go live as it is. No time, no time for stuffing around. Gotta get to it. Oh, what's with all the crowns on people's chat? Cordos, Birdman, Jedi, Reaper. Rightio. Coffee in. I think I got all my lights on. So here we go. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Okay, this is an iPad that I've got to work out what the hell's wrong. Because it doesn't seem to be behaving just like it's a normal broken screen or anything. I mean, it could be, but anyway, after today, I think I'll be slightly cautious. And I want to just check this internally, see just how safe or most likely unsafe this device is. It just came in today. This is like a compact up to 120 Celsius heater, and it works fine. Very simple to use, but it is also only a 2-pin connector, so I'm worried, because this feels like metal, that it's not actually double insulated, and I certainly don't see any indication that it's a double insulated, so it's a little bit of a risk. I'll pop it open and have a look. When I say a little bit of a risk, well, I could die. Good thing I've got trip switches on everything around here. And it's worth checking these things because the other one that I have, it had a horrendous wiring. The wiring was just terrible in it and could have easily done bad things. Yeah, Birdman. Yeah, it was just a case of I bought it because it was of its compact size. Because I do like the other one I have. It's very handy for iPads. But for other things, I wanted to go for something a bit smaller. Okay. Well, first up, I'm actually pretty shocked. They have sleeved spade connectors, so although the inputs are delightfully exposed, you can see these, not that that should be an issue, but I think we can safely say this is definitely not, well, you know what, I don't really know for sure, but it certainly doesn't seem to be double insulated. Maybe the powder coating is supposed to act as an insulation layer, I don't know. Let's see, so we have in through the switch over to here. Yeah, so if anything, I would probably want to put some kind of barrier over that, although it's going 240 volts, mains voltage into here. The resistive element is kind of sandwiched. This is kind of like a sleeve. The resistive element actually just rests in the sleeve. It's not molded as such. I can actually see parts of it there. So it's not actually like they got the resistive element and then cast silicon around it. As far as I can tell, it is a 2-piece. Well, there's a seam line here, but I can actually separate that if I want. Yeah, so this whole 240 volt section technically could, by some bizarro scenario, impact against. In fact, I can actually see where it's been pressing against the wires. So it's not as bad as the previous one, though the previous one did have the metal case as earth. So if something went wrong, then it would short to earth and therefore it would blow the breaker. But yeah, I might just cover that up with something. I'm just not sure what right now. I mean, it's a low risk of something going wrong, but it's always a risk. I'm trying to see what I've got. Find something around here. I might have some thermal transfer foam. Let's see, should have a MOSFETs box in here somewhere. MOSFETs, there we go. And it might just have something in it that I can use. Or I just realised I got a big roll of thermal transfer tape. Let's see. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Yeah, I'll get the thermal transfer tape and use that. If I can find it. Naturally I can't. Oh, there it is. Yeah, a couple of strips of this should be good. Jesus, some assholes tonight. Obviously I've voided my warranty now, although I haven't really. I love it when screws just sort of jam partway through putting them down. Like they just sort of decide, no, that's it, I'm cross-threaded or something, or at least it wishes it was cross-threaded. Wonder if it could be used as a foot warmer. Yeah, it probably could. Just don't set it to 120. Okay. I feel a little bit safer about that now. At least the wiring was done properly. Like I said, the other one, it was terrible. Goodness knows what kind of solder it was, but you know, it was that crumbly, matte looking finish solder. And it was just dangling there, ready to touch the side. Yeah, well, it still seems to work. But yeah, it's a nice unit. I do like it, and it's kind of handy because I want to be able to, so put it there, put a circuit board across it, and then I can use it to heat up the board and take parts off. Hey Teresa, Sergio, Thomas, hey David. Alright, we'll leave that there. I need to get straight into the other stuff. The first thing I really do have to do, because it is actually an important job to get done, and that is the much beloved, much maligned 2141. Sincerely hoping I can get a win on this. I really do need a win. Need a few wins. I had a bit of a rotten day. Yeah, you try to get the high quality gear for your customers, and so I had someone who needed a 15 plus screen. Hey Christos and AJ. And as a precaution, whenever I get a new series of displays, like I haven't had 15 plus before, I bought the soft OLED version for the customer. And I also tend to buy just the high quality LCD one, or whatever the highest grade the supplier is offering for LCD. And that can be my test unit for various things. Anyway, so the unit gets here, nothing really wrong with the person's phone, it's just a small crack. Fit the new screen. and it starts having really unpredictable behavior, and not the 3-minute log, 3-minute sensor failure type issues. It would just black out and not come back, but you would feel it in the background running and things like that. Yeah, it turns out it's probably just a Mac or iOS incompatibility for the moment. But the person needed their phone, of course, so I put the LCD version, or LED version on, and it works. It was fine. Obviously wasn't as bright, didn't have the high refresh rate, things like that. Obviously it was a lot cheaper for them, and away they go. But it's just annoying that when you try to make sure that people get the best parts you can within a reasonable price bracket, you still get knocked around. On the other hand, I had a 14 Plus today, and again, OLED, and that one went fine. So it was just, bit of bad luck. 15 Plus was running iOS 18.5, so it is the latest. Electro Rep. If you install the LCD on the newer iPhones, make sure to limit the frame rate, setting 60 frames per second. What happens if you don't? Let's see. Disconnect the battery first. We've got 1700. Screen issues if you don't. Okay, I'll be on the lookout for it. If they let me know that they're having issues, I'll tell them to go in and adjust the frame rate. I haven't had any issues before, but it's not to say it won't happen. So I'll take your advice and put it in my memory bank. LCDs overheat and glitch out. I have encountered that once on a 12. But other than that, haven't had any troubles. Anyway, for the most part, I will generally put people on soft OLED. I prefer not to get refurbished because of the potential for this screen was stolen. I was going to say, don't you dare beep at me like that. It's interesting, it's actually comparatively high resistance on that one. Normally it's about 150 and that one's running at about 270. Okay, this is where the trouble is usually. 523, okay, the 2v5 is fine. We've got PP bus short. Okay, we've got a PP bus short, alright. Let's hope this doesn't turn into a repeat of the one that I've been battling at the moment. Hey there, Jim, welcome. Peter retired, good evening. The one I'm battling at the moment is it came in for a PP bus HS CPU or PP HS CPU failure, short. And it was a very blatant short. It was a great big tantalum cap that had become a tantrum cap. Fixed that up, it worked fine for a day or two. Went to send it back and it was dead. And I have not been able to get that thing to come back since. There's something going on in the firmware, perhaps, of the T2. It's a freaking nightmare. Americo SO. Because I usually wait quite a bit with my testing before I notify people that, hey, your computer is ready, it's running, here's the invoice, you can pay me now. Because I specifically like to avoid these sort of situations where you get too excited, you celebrate too early, you tell the customer, hey, it's running, yay, and then 5 seconds later it's dead. Because, that's the cruel nature of our universe. Hey, Joan, John Samuels from Rome, welcome along. $82.50 on the 21, don't you mean, we'll see. Either way, at least it is on the PP bus side. And I'm hoping it's simply one dead cap and there's not a lot of junk or problems around the VREG. The other problem is that people will not give you their passwords until usually too late. Hey, board repair guy, how's it going? There's been more than enough times where I have done a repair, I'm thinking, yeah, this is not going to last very long. And so you quickly do get in touch with the customer and they take a day or two, and then by then the board's like, nah, I'm dead, giving up. And then they get angry at you, sort of, because they're sort of like, well, you said it was working. It's like, it was being the operative word now. You took too long. You didn't give me the password when you initially sent it in like you should have. We had to chase you, you took too long, and now the data is gone. Don't trigger karma. Damn right. Damn right. Miles, a lot of these get sent to me like that because a lot of them are coming through B2B. And so I don't get access to the password until I say, you know what, this is actually required. Even with jobs that are coming in for the purpose of data recovery. I've mentioned it many a time, but a lot of the time people think, oh, it was only just that time. You know, we don't need it this time. And unfortunately, I'm not really in a position where I can just gleefully deny a job and say, haha, you know, I'm denying your job because I don't have your passcode. I suppose what I should do is just not start the job until I get it. Got itchy nose for some reason tonight. What am I... The other problem, of course, is when the customer gives you a password and then you find it does not work. And then you get into a back and forth saying, you must have changed something or blah, blah, blah. And eventually you find out, oh, yeah, that's right, I changed it the other, whoops, sorry. That's infuriating. Still, it's the business we're in, and it is the nature of the things that we have to tackle. Come on, out you come. That's a decent supply of lint there, and there. Yeah, I can see there's pools of green. I can understand if they have delicate information, but the point is, it's like when you go to a doctor. If you don't disclose things, then you're not going to be able to be helped. Or you're going to die. Right, there's a lot of green on here, so this is definitely a data recovery only job with that level of green. Yeah, look at this. Okay, so that's probably our short right there. But this is a really gnarly, yucky scenario. Yeah, there's corrosion popping up everywhere. So this is definitely need the password before I'm sending it back. But I would say 99% likely that cap there is our failure point. Oh, really? The camera... Oh. You know what happened there. Here we go. Anyway, so yeah, that's most likely our failure. That's shorting PP bus. But there's a tremendous amount of junk here that really needs to be carefully handled. Like even up here. So yeah, this is, yeah, people complain about Apple, designing things badly, but at the same time, you can't exactly just run it in the rainforest or the beach or something like that and not expect some kind of problem. I need to find myself a new toothbrush. That'll do. Oh, what is it, buddy? What you after? You okay? Oh, sounding a bit sad there, my boy. I'll get you something. Milo's sounding a bit sad. He wants bickies. Milo, don't know if he wants those or. There you go, buddy. I'm really not wanting to put any kind of liquid around here because I do not want any of that junk getting in under this V-Reg. Hey there, Serge. Yeah, I wouldn't give it an ultrasonic bath. Too many things that can go wrong. I'm just going to check on the job status of this. So is this 2598? Yep, no passcode. Alright. Okay, so like this cap here and this one here may pose issues. I'm not sure yet. It's an absolute miracle, in all honesty, that the 2v5, 1v9 and all the rest of the sub rails for the NANDs haven't actually been damaged, at least not that I can tell. This may be a risk spot. Yep, Churro's a cat treat. Okay, I'm just going to mark there as a possible spot to watch. Okay, I'm just going to go around the rest of the board and brush off this trash. Give me a chance to inspect everything. ISL seems fine. It does primarily look like it's just the wings that have got the problem. At least I hope that's as far as it goes. Oh. For the most part, it looks like it's dry junk, but I would say had they continued to use it to the next wet season, then failure would certainly be a very real thing. Alright. Okay, so let's see if eliminating this capacitor brings us back up to proper PP bus values. Sort of somewhat shouldn't be tempted to mechanically remove that. So I'm going to hot air remove it. But it is very tempting to mechanically remove it. Hey, Murto. There's one gnarly cap, that one. Looks like it's started to burn its way through the board there. That's some bad news. Hey, Dreams. Oh, we did knock that cap though. Didn't even see that come off. Yeah, fortunately the pad is in good condition. Doesn't matter how many times I do these, I always still get, to some degree, a bit of apprehension, a bit of nerves, a bit of anxiety, every single time. Hey there, AJ, welcome. Okay, we're just going to hold on to that little cap. Obviously, it's not super critical, but we certainly don't want to lose it. Hey, Paul Glick. Grossed out by the crud. If you're wearing gloves and you've got an extractor system and things like that, it tends to be less offensive. That is way too much flux. What am I, Mr. Rossman today? Did any of you see that he's offering a $5,000 bounty to crack the that whatever it was, that home iOS system? I can't remember what it was. Hey, Mr. Nuts. Yeah, Birdman, I was wondering about that myself. Feeling the same too. I was like, oh yeah, I could really do with the $5,000. Okay, this is a semi-dry alcohol swab, and we have removed the bulk of the crud that was hanging around. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. That's this cap here, 5981, which is a 10 microfarad, 25 volt, 603. Come here, 603s. It's very tempting, Teresa. It really is. But it's probably time I just don't have right now. It's certainly up my kind of alley. But I'll have to let this one go, I'm afraid. I haven't forgotten about the other cap, by the way. But I kind of want to get this one down first. Yeah, that's tacked and just about to flow. Now we get that other one that we put down here somewhere. There you are. I'm gonna have to switch tweezers. The tips on that pair are just a little bit too big. It certainly does cover a lot of it. There's no two ways about that. I'd completely agree. I think I want a little bit more flux. I said a little, not a frickin' landslide. It's going to drop the air down to 40 because I have a horrible feeling this is going to get a little crazy on the blow. Yeah, it's good enough. We're not going to push it too much. I mean, strictly speaking, I could probably do without that cap, but I'd rather not in this particular case because that cap there, it's got such a close proximity to the VREG. You know, it sort of is used for transients, even though the rest of the rails have, the rest of the rail has plenty of decoupling capacitance. The point is that the distance between these two mean that this one has a higher effective importance. It can react quicker, and there's less resistance in the traces going from there to there. I actually, I just realised I didn't even bother to check to see whether the rail was fixed up. I am a little worried about these ones, but I don't want to mess with the edge bonding of that NAND unless I absolutely have to. So when it comes to the data recovery, you're constantly weighing up the risk versus return. I'm definitely worried about this up here. Seems attached. Okay, it's certainly not great, that's for sure. I saw that one you were talking about. It seemed okay from here. I know what you're talking about. This, yeah. That cap's a little bit icky, but overall it seemed like it's okay. And then this looks a little grey, but again, it feels like it's, you know, it's intact at the base. So I'm happy enough with that. Just getting ourselves a little bit of a Joey rub. The current sense lines look like they could be ever so slightly disconnected off this shunt resistor. And the thing with these particular ones is you can see that little dimple there, that's where the via is. So it comes out here through the test pad down into the via. And so if there is a break just here, ever so slightly, then we won't get the other half of our resistor sensing. It does look like it's intact, but I'm gonna blob it with a bit of solder just to give it some security. A Miniton. The test pads usually are capped with gold, yes. It's an extremely thin layer. Extremely thin. So it is predominantly copper, but then it just does have that teeny tiny amount of gold on the top. Okay, that's good. Pull click, actually, it's not liquid damage per se, it's just junk, corrosion from ingested material over years. Jeez. Fortunately, these are just test pads. Miles, it is a common issue. Well, you remember a lot of Rossman's earlier videos of the 1466s and things like that. One of his favourite things to do was to run around and just look for corroded vias. Classically on the 1466, around the clock circuit, the clock generator, they will often have corroded test pads, and that subsequently leads to failure of the board to boot. It was a very nice, easy fix, that one. It was one I could even do without a microscope at the time. I mean, I had to take photos of the board in macro lens, but I could still do it just by hand without anything else. Hey Bob, we're Alright, let's check some resistance values here. 6700 rapidly rising, that's good. And PP bus is good too now. 1K rising. Let's double check back at the fuses. Yep, we're good. I'll just check the other wing. $1K rising. Yep. Okay, yeah, 150. That's what I was expecting before. 150, 290? Really? Yeah, 150. Yeah, normally they're 150. So I was a little bit confused when I saw them up quite high. Yeah, I don't even know why they put the vias under the... I mean, ideally you have a test pad just as a fork off from the main trace. Assuming it's not a very timing sensitive or impedance sensitive trace, but for this sort of thing, yeah, I just can't think of a good reason why they would do that. Maybe they do have one, I don't know. I guess we should ask them. Okay. Oh, what was this drop? 2598. I think I'll just go brush this out and I'll be back. Hey Milo. How you doing, buddy? Okay, get ourselves some tape, because you do not want to try and put the 2141s back together without some tape. I mean, you can try. Goodness knows a lot of us did at the start, but very quickly dawns on you, like, no, I need a helping hand. Oh, really? 10? Ach, nee, man. We'll have to sort that in a smidge. Night's already gotten away too quick. Ah. Okay. Ah, here we go. Here comes the fun. Okay. Yep, even with tape it can be fun. I knew it was sponging a little bit, well, the board wouldn't sit down properly, and I was like, I've trapped a flex in here somewhere, and sure enough, there it was. The reason why I haven't run off to micro at the moment is because I have found historically it is best for me to, say, take an extra 10 minutes and finish the task at hand before going off to sort anything out. Because otherwise, what can happen is you just forget you haven't done a step or something. You forget something. And when it comes to these sort of jobs, you don't want to do that. I mostly learned that lesson back in the day with repairing iPhone 4 and 4S screens. And so what would happen is I would get interrupted, and then subsequently I would forget to put the earpiece mesh in the screen. And if any of you have done iPhone 4, 4S screen replacements, you will understand the agony of that. And so from that, unless it's of extreme importance, I basically no longer drop everything and go off anymore. Okay, just double check my NAND rails yet again. I know, it's pedantic. Trust me, it's one of those things that while it's pedantic, every now and then it saves you. 8900, 8900. Yeah, see, back up to 60 again. I don't understand what's going on there. 280, weird. Hopefully it's not an omen. 78, 900. Okay, we're good. Hey Dan, welcome. Okay, we're about to fire up and see if we actually have a win on this job. Kind of half wondering whether they've already tried to DFU this. Hopefully not. We already had enough dud machines that I've fixed up that couldn't be revived because of them doing that. Not for this particular group, but just in general. So here we go. Current's good. Oh yeah, that's what we want to hear. Hey Tom Morgan. Okay, it's good. Battery's at 0. So while that charges, I'll let you all watch the charge rate. I'll go do the injection. Yeah, we had one the other day where the one half of the NANDs wasn't able. It got corrosion on it, but it wasn't the normal sort of corrosion. And the person had put it through a DFU or something. And subsequently, it put the state of the NANDs out of sync. And then there was no way to get it back and recover the data. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens often enough. Gloves. Hello, Mia. How you doing, girl? Hey, you okay? Oh, yeah. Glasses. Oh, where's that torch? Need the torch. Hello, key. Papa. Don't run. Micro. What are you doing? You gonna jump up? Papa. You're gonna make this difficult for me, aren't you? Papa. No? What have you been difficult for? Come here. Hey? What you doing? You wanna come here? Hey? What you doing? Hey? What you doing? Come on. Papa, come on. Come up to your chair. You come up to your chair. Micro. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to blind you. Come on. Give me it. Wow, you're being difficult tonight. You're being difficult tonight. Yeah. You sure good boy. Come on. Hey. This isn't optional.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not optional. Come on. Come here. You bastard. Don't run to the cubby house. I tell you. Micro. Baba. You come up here. Micro. Micro. Ach, nee, man. Yeah. Hmm? Come on. Hey. Why don't you jump on? Hey? Why don't you jump on the shelf? There you go. Come on. Come on. Papa. Micro. Come on. You. Good boy. Hey. Now I might actually have to give you your injection. Hey? Come here. Don't run from me. Ach, nee man. Bloomin' heck. Damn it. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. He's too wound up because we gave him his gallstone dissolving medication only about an hour ago. Subsequently, he really does not want me getting near him. Normally he has no trouble whatsoever with the insulin injection, but due to the two extra events each day, he's getting a bit sick of it. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you people anymore. Four and a half amps, that's pretty good. It's a 140 watt connector. Okay, we are showing 8% on the charge, so we're all good here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, the thing is I can't get the damn bright, I hate this. Boundary. Okay, just shut it down. It's got enough charge in it now. Get the password from the customer or via the other business, and then get it backed up. I don't want to be sending this one off without it being backed up prior. It's just
Does he react to bribery of churros? Yeah, although it's not really his thing. Normally, like I said, he doesn't need bribery with his insulin injection, but he's just getting sick of the um, dissolving meds because they don't taste that great. It's an oral thing, and it's a little bit of a forced situation. Yeah, it doesn't bode well for the relationship we have with him. I'm going to find out what the hell's going on with this iPad now, and then quit it for the night. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using a much bigger heater system. I was actually hoping that that other one that we had was going to be more like this kind of matting, but it's not. That's okay. I mean, I could see from the picture that it wasn't, but I couldn't find anything that had this kind of matting with that kind of compactness. And yeah, the iPad, it's a 9th gen one, so it's not new, it's not old. Can I ask why they need to be backed up manually when we have iCloud? Mostly because there's always the risk that the machine will not make it through transit. And yeah, most people won't have iCloud for, a terabyte of data or whatever. Hot tray and a temperature control. That's certainly something to do if you've got the time and inclination. And I certainly understand that. I mean, you've seen what I do for the automatic compass switching, for my microscope light, my USB-C meter. So yeah, I mean, I get that. But for me, for the heating things, I'm fine to let someone else do that one. Hey, Victor Young, welcome. How are you? Nice to see you again. Don't see you very often, but I know you're a busy person. So this one here has a strange behavior. It's almost like it is a bad panel because I can see when I press the on-off button, it does change its charge rate. Not the worst crack job, but it's still bad enough. Oh, it's interesting. Wow, it's it is nice when you can actually get it to glide through when the cracks are running in the direction. Kind of like when you're doing woodwork. It's always nice when you get it to use the planer in the direction of the grain, and hell when you've got to try and plane against the grain or end grain. Ugh. Anyway, enough of woodwork. Anyone following the fiasco with what is it, Pirate Software, or I think his name's Thor, well that's his handle. Apparently he's a person who's very popular, talked up a big game, but then people have been getting into his source code and apparently saying he's just a social engineering fraud or something. It's hard to say though, because the people calling him out on this, when I look at them, I'm kind of thinking, I feel like we've got kettle and black around here. But I could be wrong. It just kind of feels like it's more like, I don't know, I dare say something is amiss. But a lot of the time I find these internet witch hunts are usually done by people who probably are just the same. Yeah, Bob, I often do tape the screen, but this one I didn't feel like I needed to. The previous one I did put the tape on. Subjective choice, I guess. Oh yeah, this can calm down now. It's getting a bit hot. The only trouble with running the hot plate over 60 or so is that it will hurt you if you touch it. Damn it, stuck back down. So the latest tech talk I have is regarding Nintendo bricking switches some guy bought you. Oh yeah, I did see that. Oh, it actually bricked the console? Jeez, Nintendo. I mean, I can understand bricking the game, but the console? What the hell? Are they taking lessons from BWE? Actually, Bob, that reminds me, I do have an iPad Pro. I've got to change the battery on. I'm not looking forward to that at all. I've looked at the guide on how to do it, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be fun, because I've got to lift the whole logic board out. So, thanks, Apple. Yep, really appreciate that design. Apparently Switch 2 is getting bricked for probing around voltage. Wow. Wow, so they really are going full BWE. The stupid thing is, at some point, they're gonna work out how to get around it in most cases, and usually the more you try to stop it, the more it just encourages people to defy you. I mean, if they've done it very well, then okay, maybe we're not going to be able to reverse engineer it or work our way around it. But if they have left any cracks in there, then someone's going to get a jackpot, and yeah. 4 screws near the charge. I haven't checked yet because I haven't gotten to that point. It's not normal for a display to die just from, a cracked digitizer. Flex is kind of pulled out ever so slightly. But that often is a lie, in the sense of you think, oh, I found the fault, but really in most cases it's wishful thinking. put a test digitizer on and see what happens. Not digitizer, display. This is a, yeah. Fortunately with this 7, 8 and 9th gen, they're all the same. Buttons, oh there we go. Alright, so they do have a bad display. Well, I'll plug it in again, just in case maybe it just sort of got dislodged in the drop or something. Okay. How you doing, Rose? Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's a dead display. Or at least it seems that way. No, I've been disconnecting it with the screw. Although it's not strictly fully disconnected. Yep, bad display. Hey, B-Blood. Okay, it's definitely not on anymore. I hate it when the adhesive separates. Yeah, well. Thinking I'm gonna have to actually close up. I'll get the home button out, but then I'm gonna have to close up. I've got to go deal with micro. So it's gonna take a fair bit of wooing and sitting down, talking to him, discussing how he's feeling, stuff like that. Yeah. At least that 2141 is working to the best of my knowledge now. I'll get that password from them before I do anything more with it. Ah! Geez, that's sharp. Okay, that display is dead.
And that's just going to need cleaning up. So is this 2604? Into the scrap pile. Alright. Okay, Micro basically, we're still dealing with his gallstones. So the last time we took him into Townsville, which is about 3 weeks ago now, they were 95% happy. Yeah, everything was about 95% where it needs to be. But there's still a bit of inflammation that they want to come down, and so we're still medicating him to really make sure that those stones are cleared out. Of course, the problem is that because he is diabetic, it may be that there is a higher load of bacteria in his gallbladder, which is actually creating the stones, so he may have to be on this sort of stuff for forever. We're kind of hoping not, because it is a difficult process to do every single day for him. So we're kind of hoping we can just get him cleared, and then yeah, hopefully it doesn't come back. There. Let's see, what is that? Hey Carlos, oh, thank you. So yeah, this I will tackle tomorrow. At least I know what I'm dealing with. Is that battery okay? Yeah. It's a case of cleaning everything up, putting a new display in, putting a new digitizer. Hopefully it should all be good. Charge port screws, right? Okay, yeah, we'll check that, just so that you can sleep tonight. Let's see, what do we want? We want a little Phillips. Tight. About 1/8 of a turn. This one is loose. Yes, that one there was loose. Tight. So basically, that one there was about 1 full turn loose. That one was about 1/8 of a turn loose. The outer two were fine. Thanks for telling me that. Wouldn't have checked otherwise, in all honesty. Pablo, yeah, the LCD is not functioning, so it's fine. We just replace it. We tested with a spare one that I have. It came up straight away. We put the original back on. It didn't work again, so as far as I'm concerned, that's a good enough test. And the customer is already approved to replace the display and the digitizer. Apple taking lessons from Boeing. Yeah, yeah, the screen will just fly off in mid-flight. At least the fuel lines don't get cut. That's pretty horrible, that fuel line stuff up. I don't know how that happened. I guess they're going to find out at some point, or speculate at some point how that happened. But it's pretty scary to have something like that, given all the mechanical precautions that they put in place to try and avoid such an event. I guess this is, yeah, that's aviation. We've eliminated most of the issues that can cause problems, but there's still always going to be new ones that come up. So most that I work on have those 2 screws loose. Wonder if I should red Loctite them. Boeing's tried to blame the EDI. What's the EDI? That was deliberate. Okay, so we've got, yeah, with those switches you got to lift, and not only that, I think there's a center position, isn't there? So you sort of like to go from on or off, or on, lift to center, lift to off. I don't know, I don't fly those things obviously, but from what I understand, they certainly put in the usual sort of mechanical precautions to prevent accidental switch off. So it's, and I don't think they're able to be electrically actuated, so it has to be no center position, I think you meant. Okay. What's my gut feeling about it? Honestly, I'm not really one to speculate too much about those kind of things. Maybe there was a brute force event. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
maybe there was something between the throttle levers and the switches. And then, but then, you know, when you're accelerating, your throttles go forward. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's very strange. So the problem is when they're loose, the port can wobble and break the solder rings, which explains why you often do get port failures even though the port looks clean. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll have to check that now. Pilot suicide, I mean, we have had a few cases of that in history. So yeah, I guess it's something that won't be, I guess it's something they'll be looking at. I'll let them work that out. Okay, I am out of here. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's going to be cut short before we fix this up, but I want to go deal with Micro, get him sorted out before we push too long. It's already 30 minutes past his normal schedule. The switches should be above, not between the pilots. Yeah, I mean, I agree that kind of seems like a bit of a strange position for them, but I'm sure they probably went through a million committee meetings to try and work out that, but I guess we'll find out in due time. Okay, you'll take care. Thank you again. I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.